Carmichael. Carney gives Canada a reality check. Quick question. What's the last truly massive thing Canada built? And no, a Tim Hortons on every corner doesn't count. The CN Tower? That was 1975. The year disco died and bell-bottoms were still unironically cool. So what have we been doing for the last 50 years? Welcome back to Canada Bulletin, where we break down the news that actually matters, with just enough sass to keep you awake. Today, we're diving into Prime Minister Mark Carney's speech that basically asked Canada, remember when we used to be cool? Spoiler alert, it's been a while. So picture this. It's post-World War II Canada. We're feeling ourselves. We've got ambition, determination, and apparently, an unlimited supply of concrete and steel. What do we do with all that energy? We built the St. Lawrence Seaway in 1959 because who doesn't want to casually connect the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean? Then we threw down the Trans-Canada Highway in 1962, basically saying, you know what? Let's make it possible to drive from coast to coast without getting lost in the wilderness. Revolutionary concept. We hosted Expo 67 in Montreal, a World's Fair so iconic that Canadians still talk about it like it happened last summer. And the CN Tower? Oh, the CN Tower. In 1975, we literally flew in pieces with a helicopter named Olga and assembled the world's tallest freestanding structure like it was an IKEA bookshelf on steroids. And here's the kicker. We did all this while building homes and universities for returning war veterans. We were basically the overachiever in class who finishes the test early and helps everyone else. But then something happened. Or more accurately, something stopped happening. Mark Carney stood up at the University of Ottawa this week and asked Canada a question we've been avoiding like eye contact on public transit. We used to build in this country. We can build again. Notice he said can, not will. That's important, because right now, with a country that takes 7 years to approve a pipeline and then debates whether we should have built it at all, with a nation that argues about housing while simultaneously making it impossible to build housing, we've become really good at meetings about potential future discussions. Carney knows this. He laid out a vision that basically says, remember when we did cool stuff? Let's do that again. He talked about focusing on results over objectives and investment over prohibition when it comes to climate policy. Translation, less talking, more building. Revolutionary, right? The speech was broadcast in prime time, people. When was the last time a policy speech got primetime slots? This wasn't just a press conference. This was Canada getting called to the principal's office for an intervention. Now, here's where things get spicy and a little concerning. Carney warned us that transforming the economy won't be easy or happen in a few months. It'll take sacrifice and time. And I can already hear the collective Canadian sigh. Because here's our dirty little secret. We become addicted to quick fixes. Stephen Harper gave us a GST cut, instant gratification. Justin Trudeau gave us generous COVID benefits, dopamine rush. We've been chasing that high ever since like political junkies who can't handle the come down. Building a seaway? That takes years. Constructing infrastructure? Decades. Transforming an entire economy? We're talking generational work here, folks. There's no TikTok-linked solution to this problem, and the polls show it. Over 60% of Canadians rank cost of living as a top concern. The economy? 38%. Trump's tariff tantrums? 35%. We want cheaper groceries now, not a stronger economy in 2030. Carney's asking us to think like JFK, who promised to put a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s. A pledge that polled terribly until Neil Armstrong actually did it. The vision only became popular in hindsight. But are we willing to take that leap of faith? Or are we too busy checking our grocery receipts? But wait, there's a bigger, scarier context we need to talk about. Remember when international trade was about everyone getting richer together? Comparative advantage, win-win scenarios, come by economics? Yeah, that was cute. Welcome to the age of geoeconomics, where trade isn't just about money. It's about power. It's about security. It's about making sure you're not dependent on someone who might decide to weaponize your weakness. Here's the thing, Canada got lucky. Like really lucky. After World War II, We built all those big things during a period when the dominant superpower was our friendly neighbor who literally just wanted to sell us stuff and buy our stuff. We were living on easy mode. But now, the US and China are playing geopolitical chess, and Canada is a pawn trying to convince everyone we're actually a rook. We've never had to develop serious survival instincts because we've never really had to survive. We had America's umbrella and called it foreign policy. And if you want to see what real survival instincts look like, let's talk about Finland. Because Finland is what happens when you don't have a friendly superpower next door. After World War II, Finland was squeezed between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union like the worst sandwich ever. They picked Germany because Stalin had already invaded once, killing 20,000 Finns, and everyone knew he'd try again. Spoiler, he did. So what did Finland do after the war? They built an industrial economy from scratch while paying reparations to the Soviets, imprisoning their own leaders to appease Stalin, and basically walking on eggshells 24/7. They called the years after the war the years of danger, not the years of rebuilding or the recovery period, the years of danger. But here's what's wild. They thrived. They protected their independence through sheer determination and strategic thinking. They built big things too, but they did it while a totalitarian regime breathed down their necks. Public criticism of the Soviet Union, career suicide. They learned to survive by being smart, not loud. Which brings us to the most awkward conversation happening in Canada right now. Ontario just ran some anti-tariff TV ads featuring Ronald Reagan. They're good ads, solid messaging, great production value. But then Trump canceled trade negotiations over them. Manitoba Premier Wabkinyu said the ads are good. And he's right, they are good. But here's the uncomfortable question. When you're trying to survive in a geoeconomic world, is good messaging more important than effective diplomacy? Finland spent decades not criticizing the Soviet Union publicly because they understood that pride is expensive when your neighbor has tanks.